private legal practitioner and journalist of the year, Samson Anyenini, says Ghana does not need to create any new institution or enact new laws to fight corruption. Speaking at a lecture organized by the One Ghana movement on the theme, The Fight Against Corruption, a Mythical Pursuit, he cited the contract protection law, which has never been applied since it was enacted in 1979. Ms. Anyenini says implementation of the laws already enacted will give a major boost to the fight.
In 2011, we introduced the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, NACAP, intended to ensure interagency coordinated, all-hands-on-deck approach for action, and believed sufficient funding and sustained implementation will see dramatic reduction in corruption in Ghana by 2024. That's the life of that special action document. We are only 4 years away from the deadline, but NACAP's major strength was that it was to be directly integrated into national development planning, making the plan an integral part of the regular annual activities of public institutions, including the ministries, departments, and agencies. Has the fight been but a myth? Article 35(8) of our Constitution says, quote, "The state shall take steps to eradicate," underline that, eradicate corrupt practices and the abuse of power. Remember, the definition of corruption legally includes misuse of power for private gain. What a clear, unambiguous command to and duty imposed on the state to fight the canker of corruption. It is important to note the place of the above provision in the Constitution. It is to be found in Chapter 6, which contains the directive principles of state policy. The DPSPs centralize the collective will, hopes, and aspirations of citizens. All citizens, Parliament, the President, the Judiciary, the Council of State, Cabinet, political parties, and other bodies are to be guided by the DPSPs in their interpretation of the Constitution or any other law. The ideals in there are also to guide all mandatorily, quote, in taking and implementing any policy decisions for the establishment of a just and free society, unquote. In fact, an entire chapter 24 of the Constitution is dedicated to code of conduct expected to guide public officers and sway them away from the attractions of corruption. It opens with an important introduction. Quote, "A public officer shall not put himself in a position where his personal interest conflicts or is likely to conflict with the performance of the functions of his office. Examine the efforts, actions, and inactions of our governments, the conduct of public office holders, and answer for yourself if the fight has been a myth." We can end the curse of the fight being a myth, if that's your conclusion, by doing a few things, the concerns and efforts over the decade to arrest the situation must not be in vain. As I noted on the outset, I have reviewed the operations of our anti-corruption institutions and over a dozen of our anti-corruption legislations. We sincerely do not need to continue on the path of passing more laws and setting up more institutions, especially after the OSP and the right to information laws. Those are two deadly weapons to kill corruption. So I say the corruption fight will not achieve much if we don't do the following. 1, if the Contracts Protection Law is not used to prosecute offenders. This is a scant but monstrous 6-sectioned, 1-page law crafted to exact high-quality execution of government-sponsored infrastructural contracts and service delivery. A violation, especially making fraudulent payments, attracts a refund of up to 3 times the value of the contract, plus a possible jail term of up to 10 years. It is very curious that this apparently watertight anti-corruption law, just 1-page law, with clear purpose to produce substantial deterrence, and in the event of successful prosecution under it, to recover punitively and deny a convict of any benefit of the proceeds of the crime, is not known to have been used since it was enacted in 1979. Again, the fight will not achieve much if, number 2, if serious consideration is not given to an agenda to oil the resource-starved civic educator, NCCE, to undertake vigorous education to change mindsets and attitudes in our schools and communities, to revive the patriotic spirit of the Ghanaian. We have been known to work conscientiously and such that the school teacher who does not earn much but is content had great respect in the community. How did we come to glorify wealth above every virtue and without questioning the source of the wealth? The fight will not achieve much if we do not do this. So, number 3, if the EC will not demand, insist, and cause to be prosecuted political parties that continue to disregard with impunity the law requiring them to file within 6 months from the 31st of December of each year a detailed report showing the state of their accounts, sources of their funds, members' dues paid, contributions and donations, cash and kind received, assets, including fiscal assets, and audited accounts for the year. Guess the consequences for not complying with this provision of the law. Section 30, subsection 3 of the Political Parties Law exacts a fine from any amount to a maximum of 10 million penalty units. That is 120 million Ghana cedis, and a possible 2 years jail terms upon conviction. Again, the fight will not achieve much if, number 4, if SHRAJ is not adequately resourced and properly empowered to vigorously pursue and confiscate unexplained wealth from public office holders